Welcome back to Screen and Ink. This is Season 3, Episode 6, Instant Recap. Hunter, what are your thoughts?
Very slower episode this time, but filled with information and lore that we desperately need, especially if we're going to speed up this season and how we're going to go with the end of it.
For sure, because we're reaching endgame now.
We're reaching endgame. 2 more episodes left. I mean, 10 episodes
10
left
episodes,
in the
man.
whole series now.
Which feels sad to say.
Don't know how we're going to tie this up.
It's going to be rough.
It's going to be quick. It needs to be quick, but it needs to be done with, it needs to be done good.
My first thoughts on what you just said and how this episode went, if they move, most episodes like how they did this one, every scene matters. Every scene is pushing the plot forward.
Yeah.
I think they can pull it off.
Yes.
10 episodes, it's with how much is left, especially if they're going to include all the stuff that happens after, the climax.
Right.
Yeah. They're going to have to move it along. But if they keep doing it how they're doing it this season, I think they can. I really think they can.
Yeah. I just wish they gave this amount of they in season 2, I feel like they didn't give every scene its justice and power. Every scene
For sure.
in season 3 has been. Every single scene you have to pay attention, you got to listen, kind of like I said this during the episode.
Game of Thrones, man.
It feels just like a Game of Thrones season. Every single scene matters. You have to listen to every bit of dialogue because it matters in the end. Season 2 felt like we were just hopping from Dragonstone to King's Landing, 100%. And it was just a bunch of slow-paced stuff.
Kind of piggybacking off of what you said right there. I think Season 1 and Season 2 felt just way different than anything we had gotten with Game of Thrones. It's of course, when it's set in the same world and everything, and we hear so many characters, it has the same kind of it's in the same place. But if it felt, I know it's a completely different show, but it really felt like it. You know what I mean? It didn't really feel so much like a prequel,
right,
as it did something completely different from Game of Thrones.
Right.
But this season has felt like prime Game of Thrones.
Yes, it has.
And it really, I think what we love so much about, I'll include the first 6 seasons of this. I know the books don't reach up until season 6, but I feel like really through there, it feels like the books. You know what I mean? The Song of Ice and Fire books feel like the first seasons of Game of Thrones.
Yeah, for sure.
The first 2 seasons of House of the Dragon did not really have that feeling for me.
No.
But season 3 does. I feel like I'm reading a book.
First half
season this.
Season 1 kind of did.
Yeah.
And then when they did the time jump, it's like it kind of went
I
off.
agree with that, actually,
Yeah.
Which I know it's funky to switch up most of your cast halfway through.
And that's huge.
Yeah.
To do something like that is absolutely insane. Because you got to nail the casting. Because if they didn't nail...
And they did nail the casting.
If they didn't nail Emma Darcy and Olivia Cook, the whole show would have been cooked.
100%. Because, of course, you have, Matt Smith there to anchor you.
Yeah, for sure. You still had Paddy Considine as Viserys. You had him for another, few more episodes, and then Corlys.
Which, he could have been a completely different actor, the way he looked,
For sure.
Yeah, but
and then Otto.
But gosh, he delivered. Yeah.
Yeah. And we were talking about Otto earlier during this episode, and how Ormond throws shade at Otto, which is very curious. It's like, because he looks down on Gwen.
Yeah.
But we know from what Gwen has told us, he would let, Ormond win at these games when they were younger. So it's built this fake confidence up in Ormond, and he shows it to Gwen.
Oh, yeah.
When he comes back, he's like...
He's talking down to him, man.
Talking down on him, man. Yeah. It was very odd to see that. But then throwing shade at Otto is
kind of made
odd.
these insinuations that maybe Gwen is gay.
Right. Yeah. You pointed that out.
Yeah, that
talking
he
about
was
laying with his.
He was getting solace with his
with his men.
With his men. Yeah, I thought that was a little, which maybe. I mean,
he showed a lot of heart towards Kristen.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he loved him.
He
but
did, man. Yeah.
He showed a lot of like brotherly type of vibe with him.
Shedding tears for him.
Shedding tears for him.
You could see, and even when Kristen was giving that speech at the end of last episode, Gawain looked back over his shoulder as he was about to walk into the forest, and you could see it all over him. He was just like, man.
Yeah. Also want to know how Gawain time traveled to Templeton so far.
Now that was classic Game of Thrones right there.
Past the Rivermen, past Corlys and his men, past King's Landing and all the guards they have stationed outside of them, and then right to Templeton. Past 2 dragons that have been patrolling the area, or actually 4 dragons that have been patrolling the area.
Maybe Hugh went and picked him up somewhere. Just kidding.
But I don't know, but I'll let it slide. We got a lot of things to cover.
Yeah.
And that's why we let it slide a lot in
100%.
Season 7, Season 8. We got a lot of things to cover in Game
It was
of Thrones,
egregious, frankly, though, in Season 7 and
But when Dany
8.
gets from Dragonstone to Beyond the Wall in a matter of like a few seconds or an hour,
that was ridiculous.
What are we doing
She got
here?
there overnight, man. That was ridiculous. Let's dive into this episode.
Let's do it, man.
So,
kicking it off with the Butcher's Ball. Finally, we get to talk about this. Yes. God, we've been waiting on this. Finally, the Kingmaker gets his
comeuppance. Finally.
Yeah.
Guys, Hunter has been saying for weeks now, it's got to be this episode. It's got to be this episode. It's got to be this episode. And for a couple weeks now, we've been let down. But this past week, we knew. We knew it had to be this episode.
Yeah, especially with all the things that Fabian Frankel was like posting on his Instagram.
Yes,
it was like, it's gotta happen.
Mm-hmm. Phenomenal scene. I mean, they pulled it straight out of Fire and Blood.
Straight out.
Like, of course, there was some differences. They didn't stumble into a trap by the Rivermen. The Rivermen set it up to where they made it look like there was a battle there. Mm-hmm. But really, then the Rivermen come back to life. They were never dead, and they start the battle there.
Yeah.
Of course, that does not happen in the Fire and Blood book.
Yeah, no.
We see Criston Cole. He fights his absolute heart out. Right. We finally get to see him back with the Morning Star.
Finally.
Finally.
It's been forever.
That's what he used in the books, and oh my gosh. Was he gnarly with it, man? I mean, that's what he beat Daemon with in the tourney.
Yep.
And we see why.
Yep, and I love how last episode he says, I am the realm's greatest warrior. And everybody online on Twitter, made fun of him for saying this. But if don't know, if you haven't read Fire and Blood, then you're just going off of this show and him being cucked this whole entire 100%. Series. If you're just going off of that, brother, you're highly mistaken.
100%.
He is absolutely like he is the realm's greatest warrior. He literally is. And I love how they got us and they showed his elite capabilities like throughout the entire scene. Because he starts with the Morning Star, then he goes to the sword, then he goes to the dagger. So it shows you he is elite in all assets.
100%.
And then close quarter combat with the dagger,
and he's commanding. I mean, while he's fending off himself from 4 different men coming from different directions,
right? Still shouting commands and everything.
He's yelling to me, and they get out of that skirmish. If that was just a trap set by the Rivermen, they would have got out of there and been victorious.
They killed them all.
Also, really badass moment from Criston Cole. After they win, he yells, "We light the way!"
Oh, yes,
oh my gosh!
And we hate the high towers, we hate the greens, but God, that was amazing.
Yes, man.
You know what that little ambush reminded me of? And leaving behind the certain amount of Rivermen because they knew they were going to die. Yeah. Reminded me of Rob, and leaving behind those 2,000 men he leaves behind for Tywin to come in and he slaughters all of them. in that
battle.
battle.
In the first battle.
In the first battle.
Yes,
but
that Tyrion fights in, yeah?
He takes the rest of his host and defeats Jaime.
Yes.
And different circumstances.
The Whispering Wood.
The Whispering Wood, that's what it was. Different circumstances, but those men knew that they were going to die.
100%.
But they sacrificed themselves for a bigger thing.
That's a really good comparison.
And that's what it
just
made
on
me
a
think
smaller
of.
scale, yeah.
Just on a smaller scale, and it made me think of that right there.
100%.
But
that's really good.
Yeah.
Let's kind of compare it to the book.
Mm-hmm.
So they brought a lot of lines
Mm-hmm.
straight out of the book, which we loved. But there was
sadly.
Yes, there was one line missing. I will get to that in just a second. But there was a few big changes, right? He does not fight in this battle in the book.
No.
You know, he's a horse, and he rides up to who's the Northman with
Roddy the Ruin.
Yes, Roddy the Ruin, and Oscar Tully.
Mm-hmm.
And there's another man with them. I'm forgetting the name.
Yeah, I can't remember. Him.
But he says to them, you know, there's that line, if there's to be battle here, many of your men will die as well.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the line from Oscar Tully
about the bones.
Yes, when he's like, I promised the dead that I would build a sept of bones. I don't have near enough bones yet. Oh my gosh!
I love how they're propping up Oscar like this because
he's so young too.
Yeah, and he's not like that in the book. He's not like with them, is he?
I believe he is there.
But I feel like he's not as young as he is though.
Yeah, I don't.
There's a
think
difference
so.
that they've done. I think they might have combined two characters because I've heard others talk about that. But the way that they portray him.
He's a little badass, man.
Yeah, this young badass is awesome.
And I love how they're giving the Tullys their flowers, man. They are such an underrated house throughout all of the Game of Thrones series.
Mm-hmm.
River Run, top 5 castle, in my humble opinion.
I love it.
I love River Run, the whole idea around it. We talked about it. The Rivermen, they might be our favorite people. They're always getting absolutely shit on by everybody just because they lay in the middle of the realm, you know. They're always ground zero.
Yeah, when any kind of war breaks out, you know,
literally, they
get pulled from each way. They're not too far from King's Landing, so they'll pull them. They're not far away from Casterly Rock.
Stormlands.
The Stormland, and then they're not far away from the north.
Yeah, the north feeds right into them, man.
Yeah, so they're smack dab in the middle.
They border the Trident.
Yep. They're smack dab in the middle. And I like how the Rivermen and the Tullys are getting their flowers, like you were saying, because last season, Daemon shit all over them.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, you can't control your own lands. You know, because I think is it Grover Tully was dying? His grandfather was dying last.
Yeah. And then the Brackens and the Blackwoods are going at it.
They were fighting, and so you had every house in the Riverlands for themselves. You had some declaring for the Greens and some for the Blacks, like how we just said with the Brackens and the Blackwoods. So there was like with the Tullys, they couldn't fully combine their strength. But then when Oscar finally grabbed the mantle and took it over, now he has this overwhelming power, and sitting right beside Roddy the Ruin, who is a dog, who is an absolute graybeard beast. And for them, I love their kind of chemistry they got.
100%.
They showed it to us last episode. They're, them talking, and he heeds his like advice and what he thinks they should do.
And they were kind of going back and forth, and he was talking about how they swarm around them like was it fleas or
and
he was like better fleas than frostbite. And like just little banter between the two of them.
It was good.
Grover's young, but he is
Oscar.
He is a man. Oh yeah, sorry, Oscar Tully. He is so young, but he's a man.
He is a man.
You know.
Yeah. And he proved that with Daemon and what he
100%.
made
He's
him
like,
do.
if you want us, you gotta cut Blackwood's head off.
Yeah.
And made Daemon cut his head off.
Cut up Blackwood, who we were all on the side of.
Oh yeah,
we all
100%.
Me and you prefer the Blackwoods.
Yeah.
We hate the Brackens.
I think
Everybody
who respects themselves,
especially
they're on
what we
Team
saw
Blackwood,
in season
man.
1,
Come
2.
on. When he called that little boy a craven and then got
Yeah.
slain right in front of.
Yeah.
That was in Storm's End, yeah.
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 Oh, what an awesome
It's
scene.
crazy how far we've came from that scene, because that was Lord Boros' dad. That was his father, and now we have Lord Boros who's in command now. And it doesn't feel like it's been that long, but it really has been in the grand scheme of things. Yeah.
My goodness.
Yeah.
1 second. When the one line that we're missing, right, is Roddy the Rune, right?
Yeah.
Saying that I'll have no song sung of how bravely you died, Kingmaker.
Yeah.
And then giving a signal, and
then Black
there's
Alley.
there's a volley of arrows that hit him. But in the show,
they
kind of skipped over that, and it was Black Alley.
Yep.
But I kind of like how it was maybe a little bit of a character change, a little bit, when he said the two of you versus me. Will that be enough to make a fight of it? You kind of see Roddy the Rune kind of look down a little bit, almost like, I wish. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he wants to go out there.
I wish I could give you the fight that you're asking for.
And you sense that this was Oscar's idea.
Yeah. But at the same time, it's good, because really you don't want any song sung of how bravely he died. He does not deserve it. He's
a terrible person.
He's a
Kristen's
terrible person.
Terrible man.
Yeah, he's
a
really bad man.
He dishonored his whole oath, his whole being.
Many times over.
Yeah. And I like how it felt like we were going to get this knight, this King's Guard, this Lord Commander of the King's Guard, and this leader of this company. He wraps his love around the hilt of his sword, and he's going to go out here and he's going to die fighting. And
he catches an arrow to the face.
And that's exactly how Kristen's life is summed up, because it is a
really good analogy for his life.
It portrays him because inside I truly feel like he is begging to be this honorable man.
Yeah.
But the oath stricken him of his desires is what just ruined him.
Yeah.
And as soon as he laid with Rhaenyra, it was all over.
100%.
And then it filled him with this hate, and then he continues to defy.
You could see that he was so guilty after that happened, and he asked Rhaenyra to run away with him. And he is much younger at this time,
Right.
and he is not highborn. So he has this fantasiful.
Well, we'll go to Bravos. We'll go to Pintos. We'll live off
grow oranges.
Yeah, and
what the hell are you talking about? I'm going
dude?
to be queen, man.
That's funny that this happens in the same episode that I just referred to with the Bracken and the Blackwood kid.
Very true.
That is funny, but yes, it is funny how that happens. And
he's just so flawed, and I think you're really right. I think there was a good man in him begging to get out. But it was deep, deep, deep down and buried under all of his sin. I mean, so much sin.
And then it begs you to question this oath itself, the oath of a Kingsguard himself.
Mm-hmm.
The type of person it takes to fulfill that oath and to honor that oath. You have to be the straightest, to the word of the book man, to follow that thing, because to take someone of so young like Kristen at the time, to be like, no kids, no sex, no lands, nothing but duty.
And
it's a lot to ask of a person.
And we see so many examples throughout the books.
Yeah, especially in the books,
where
Sir Ares
I was about to mention Sir Ares Oakheart, man. That's a good knight. He is a good man.
I loved his, because he's just got one chapter, right? In Feast.
I believe so. I think all the other chapters are from Alysanne is her name, or
Alysanne, yeah.
Alysanne. But yeah, and he, like in the end of his chapter, he knows that he has deserted everything.
Yeah.
And he sees this opportunity to die for this woman that he has confessed his love to, and he's like, you know what, I'm taking it. And he rides into this battle that he knows he can't win.
Mm-mm.
And coincidentally enough, his horse gets killed from under him with arrows.
Wow.
And then he also dies in the dirt because
never put that together. Yeah.
Is his name? Yeah. Comes up and then
yeah.
cuts his head off with one swing. He also doesn't get the battle. Dude, that was awesome.
My God.
Yeah.
What a great connection.
Yeah.
I've never heard that.
Yeah.
And we love this stuff. We watch, theories and examples of things, and we read these books 4 times over. But
yeah.
I've never
put that together too until I was just talking about it.
That was amazing. Oh my God. Yeah.
So now that we've pretty much covered that scene.
Yeah.
What do you prefer? The screen or the ink?
I gotta go ink. Gotta go ink. I mean, I really loved what they did on screen. I think they portrayed it just about as perfect as you could. Would have loved to hear.
I wanted to hear the complete line.
I really wanted to hear the line, but it's okay.
It is okay.
The
Oscar's
arrow
delivery.
through the eye, not through almost through the eye, but through the face, I thought was a great.
I think it was better than
touch.
him getting hit in the neck.
Yeah, for sure.
100%. It was
because
better
also Kristen's like this
pretty boy,
handsome man.
100%.
I mean, there's a reason why both princesses and queens have laid with him. There's a reason for that. So for it to go through the face as well, it was a big F you to him.
That was a good one.
So
and, I like how it zoomed in on Alysanne's A at the end of that, because she's also, downtrodden at this time. So I think it was kind of indicative of where she is at the moment as well. I don't think it was just showing like, oh, Kristen died, for her and thinking of her. I don't think they showed that just for that. I think it was to show like Allison's pretty much here as well. She's also has been brought low.
Yeah, and she's currently surrounded by enemies at the same point.
And she's being sent to do one of the most heinous things that anyone can imagine. We'll get into that in a bit.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. I actually think I'm going to go ink as well. I think the delivery is so much better. I think not giving Kristen Cole the chance to fight at all, is such a good, just F you moment to Kristen, denying him that. I think the lines, all the lines being there is so awesome. But the little bit of subterfuge they did at the beginning, drawing everybody in, that was really awesome. I don't know why. I knew that, obviously we know that Kristen's host at this time is incredibly small.
Right.
But when I'm reading Fire and Blood, I don't know why, I kind of envisioned his host being
way bigger.
Way bigger than that. Obviously way smaller than what
the Rivermen have.
The Rivermen have with the combined.
But still, it looks like he has 20 men.
Yeah.
It feels like in the book he has at least a 1,000.
Maybe, something like that. Yeah, hundreds though, for sure.
And I feel like they just did that to save probably money. They don't want to show. They don't have to hire more extras and all this because they got a lot of stuff to cover in the next few episodes.
Or maybe so they can justify, hey, there's more greens elsewhere.
That is a good point because they introduced this guerrilla, tactic in last episode. So maybe there is all these different factions all over the place.
Gawain was good at, and he's, but
maybe the majority of the host was Hightower men. Maybe Gawain actually did take that many. Yeah. It looked like when he turned around, he took like 10 guys with him, or a few guys. Maybe it was like there was a whole host at the bottom of that hill, and they took off.
It only showed us a couple guys actually dying as they were moving through the Riverlands.
Yeah.
But we might be able to surmise that quite a bit more. Yeah. Quite a few people actually ended up dying on that trek.
Yeah.
Um,
So you want to get into this next scene with
Damon.
Another council meeting.
Oh my gosh,
And
it's almost painful to watch.
It
man.
is painful every time Rhaenyra holds a small council meeting.
And it's worse when she holds court.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, it's just, you can feel, and when at the beginning of season 1, and Viserys holds his small council meetings, you feel the life of that room.
Yeah.
Everybody's wearing gold and red, and
they're representing all these different places and different things.
Yeah, because you have Corlys in there. He's wearing his blue. Otto's wearing his green. Like,
they're talking about stuff going on the other side of the world.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they do talk about Daemon in the City Watch, funny enough.
Yeah, that's true.
But you still feel this.
He's still.
Dude, what is this? 25 years later, and we're still talking about this. Daemon still
He's
got
still
trouble.
in the High Council chamber, bitching about the same thing.
It doesn't matter who is the king or the queen. Daemon is always in the crosshairs of somebody. He's
100%.
Always the kid at school getting in trouble with the principal. Like, it's always something with him. But I will have to agree with him in this scenario, with what he's talking about, and with Rhaenyra's focus being solely on Old Town, or not Old Town, on Tumbleton. We have to solidify what is going on, and we have
100%.
to justify these actions that are going on, these killings of your City Watch. This cannot stand. And I understand she sends for the Velaryons after Alan advises her to do so, which is a great plan. I mean, hey, we got a bunch of Velaryons running around on the coast of the Blackwater. Like, we need to call them back.
Yeah.
And, we see at the end of the episode, Corlys is like, okay, it's time for me to go home. It's time for me to stop running again, like I always do.
Yeah.
Corlys is always running away. He's going to the Stepstones. He's going back to Driftmark. He's going on his adventures.
I was about to say, part of him just needs adventure, man. That's his whole thing, is the 9 voyages, right?
Yeah,
so 9 voyages. Yeah.
That's getting away from whatever he had going on at home.
So,
and it was probably the majority of Rhaenys getting denied her throne.
Mm-hmm.
He probably took at least some of those voyages, probably like 5 of those voyages, I'd say, after Rhaenys was denied her rightful throne.
True.
And he just couldn't stick around with this kind of this shadow of being king.
Yeah.
Because he would have been king.
Yeah, he wanted it so bad. I think even more than himself, he wanted it for his house. Like that, he only cares about legacy.
And he talks about later in season 2, like, I wanted it for you, Rhaenys, and she's like, no, Corlys, you wanted it for your own pride and your own ambition and for your name.
Yes.
You didn't want it for me. You wanted it for you, and that's exactly what he would have done. He would have used that Velaryon fleet. He would have used that Kingswood probably to build more Velaryons, more Velaryon ships. It would have been the best armada, which it 100%. Is, but it would have been better because you would have had more coin to back it. And he would have been the true
Everything
king.
would have been so much better if Rhaenys would have taken the throne.
Yeah, because Rhaenys would have been a great queen, but he would have been a very ambitious king consort. But anyways, back to this scene.
I really love the chemistry between Frey and Manderley. And they're
so funny.
Talking. They're just bantering the entire time.
Yeah.
But we learn that 25 gold cloaks
25
were killed.
Slaughtered, yeah.
That
makes sense.
Rough. Yeah.
Makes sense to what makes sense to what the other gold cloaks, when they turn in their cloaks. Look, why are we sacrificing our life and we're not even getting paid for it?
Speaking of which, we saw added to the intro.
A man getting ripped apart on the tapestry.
And then another one in a gold cloak laying dead, it looked like with his throat cut, who I believe was the Lord Commander. You said his name.
Sir Luther.
Yeah, Sir Luther.
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
And Daemon, he wants to burn Templeton.
I agree. I'm tired of this.
Unfortunately, there comes a point.
There comes a point when, how about you do this? How about you just take the dragons and you cut them off, and so no supplies can get in there.
Mm-hmm.
We see Hugh stop a man
with full of foodstuffs.
Why?
Yeah. Are you letting?
Are you even letting them get in there?
And then maybe they don't want to starve their own people, because I guess that's as good as killing them. Because we know that.
What about the people of Sharp Point? What about the other castle? They said last episode it was called. It started with a W.
You brought up Sharp Point. You see that lady the serving girl?
Yeah.
She's like a page essentially.
Yeah.
She is her family is from Sharp Point. She's actually like she's a highborn lady. Yeah. I'm forgetting her name, but yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice pickup. I didn't catch that.
Sorry to interrupt you. Please continue.
But I'm just saying, what about all these other... There have been, like you say, that Templeton, yes, it falls under your role. Yes, all 7 kingdoms do. But we can't fight this battle. We can't win this war without lives being lost.
100%.
And I understand that he took this small town, and it's sad to see them go. But
and also
there have been countless river towns being slaughtered at the same time.
There's no way out of it without sacrificing those people, unfortunately, because even if you cut them off, right?
Yeah.
The high towers are just going to take from the people that live there. And they're the small folk that live there are going to die first.
Like we saw in episode 3 when they moved in and took it, and we saw what happened.
They immediately shacked up with all the people.
And then there's probably been countless, essays going on in that town.
100%.
And just terrible crimes committed by these high tower men, by these men of war. And I mean, it's just the nature of this terrible war that we are still pursuing, and it's ongoing. So I have to agree with Damon in this whole scenario.
I do as well.
And I hate how Massaria is just
she's
still
such a
here.
Snake, dude.
The white worm.
Yeah. And she is a worm.
She is worming her way through everything.
Yep.
With Alicent, with lying to Rhaenyra right after this scene, lies to her face. You didn't have no knowledge of this, did you? You didn't suspect. No. No, I didn't.
We see this scene where Massaria is having this serving boy killed.
That?
No idea. She says he's a liar and a thief.
What'd he do?
And then
we didn't see it.
She just says, "Let me know when it's done." What the hell?
Now, is this her fleshing out Larys's people? Like these loyal servants to Larys? Is that what she's doing?
Maybe. I think it's going to elaborate on that next episode. We see Daemon in the small council chamber. He throws a goblet at Manderley.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
Which is so funny. He was like, he called him fat, and he was like, "You don't care about anything other than shoving food in your face."
Yeah, and he's like, your own war has been your own indigestion.
yeah.
That was the funniest line.
The only war you fight is with your own indigestion.
I've ever heard Daemon say was that line. That was hilarious to me.
And then, shortly after this, he storms out. Again.
She keeps reducing him. I wrote down, she keeps grounding him. She won't let him do anything. It's fix the city watch, Damon. Fix it. That's it. That's been his whole thing. Besides going and gathering gold from Lady Aaron.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's not been that. It's been stay in the city watch, fix it, find the killers. But we have to deal with this because she doesn't understand that the reason why all these city watch keep getting killed is because there are infiltrators from Ormond who gets to just keep sending these orders into the city.
Yep.
So it doesn't matter how many people you keep, even if you find these killers, like the dude said, I forget his name.
Yeah.
But when Daemon finds him later in the episode, It doesn't matter how many you kill.
Like
it's going to piss off 10 times, double as
They're
more.
the common people, man.
Yeah, you're just going to keep pissing people off. And Ormond keeps having these orders sent in there by pigeon.
And one thing is, like, people, when they have problems, right?
Yeah.
They look for the natural thing to do that so many people do is they look for somebody to blame for the problems they have.
Yep.
And if you're having, you're having your city watch go in and brutalize people, and then people are killing these people, and then leaving messages, like, this is because of your queen.
Yeah, you queen of bastards.
Yeah.
Also being written on all the walls.
Mm-hmm.
But also, there's no money flowing through this city.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is stagnant. There's nothing going around here.
Which leads us to the rest of the Gold Cloaks leaving.
Yep.
They turn in their cloaks. Damon has no pep talk for him. There's nothing he can do.
I wanted to say real quick.
Yeah.
The old guy turning his cloak in reminded me of another old white-bearded white guy.
Yes, in the first season.
Yeah. Barristan turning his cloak in. He didn't want to. Joffrey struck it from him. But still, that reminded me of...
Throws his sword down and gives one of the coldest lines ever here. Melt it down and add it to the other's boy.
Oh, God.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, so
Cold.
when he turns his cloak in, the city watchman turns his cloak in, it reminded me of Barristan turning his in. And honestly, for an honorable reason. Like, he has to feed his family. Like,
yeah.
Like, what are we going to do?
You have to put your family first.
You got to put your family first, but also, like they don't have any coin.
Yep.
So, like...
And we're being assassinated in the streets.
Yep.
I want to ask, before this scene goes off, right here in the small council chamber, you see the Kingsguard standing behind him. Did you know that it's the same person who plays Captain Price in Call of Duty?
Yeah, we pointed that out. We didn't talk about it in the episode, but after the episode was over, we talked about it, and I was like, oh, my God.
Yeah.
That is Captain Price, man.
Captain Price, man.
Freaking one of my favorite video games ever.
Same.
But
one of my favorite video game characters ever.
One of my yes, same.
He's such a badass.
I thought it was hilarious that he got casted as our Lord Commander.
It was a cool little scene to show how far the Kingsguard will go. Rhaenyra goes and visits Alicent in her chambers, and Alicent grabs Rhaenyra by the arm, and he puts his hand on his sword and says, "Unhand the queen now."
Yeah. I don't care who you are.
Yeah.
Also, she grabbed the same one that she slit open.
Good catch. Very good catch.
So now, for something that she tried to break down, she's clinging onto for hope.
In the scene after the small council meeting, she meets with the men that Boros Baratheon sent to King's Landing.
Mm-hmm.
Because
finally, Lord Boros shows up, and the Baratheons show up.
Yep. And we hear of the Vulture King. He rode south to face the Vulture King in Dorne. Which is the first time that we've actually heard of him in the show. He's a big part of Fire and Blood because, there's many different Vulture Kings.
Yeah, throughout history.
Yeah, and they've been a big freaking problem in the past.
Yeah, that's why they can't conquer Dorne.
Yep. Yeah, one of the big reasons, yeah.
Mm-hmm. These Dornish incursions are no joke.
And she says to the man that, treats in Boros's place, she says, I could have him branded a traitor and hang you in his stead. And then he's like, he says, if there's anything I could do, I would do it.
Well, we see what he does.
Yeah.
And Rhaenyra.
I mean,
honestly, a good plan.
It was a cunning plan.
Very cunning plan. I liked it. I liked it a lot.
I do too.
But very ballsy plan.
Because if they're gonna name him king, yeah, you got to kill the guy.
Yeah, we got to kill him.
You got to kill him. He's no longer an innocent in the war. He's a dragon rider. He's a claimant to the throne. You have to eliminate him.
It just makes me think. So these men. What did Boros tell them? Did Boros really tell them to, treat with Rhaenyra. Like, I am for Rhaenyra.
Honestly, my honest take is that...
Or is he trying to save face with both?
100% I think he's trying to save face. I think he did it to, just show Rhaenyra, like, hey, I remember you. I know you're
sorry,
my queen.
I'm not here right now.
I'm answering your summons, actually. I'm just not there.
Yeah, I'm just not there right now. Currently upheld in the mountains, the Red Mountains.
And I love how Rhaenyra tells them, has it not occurred to Lord Boros that I could be a much bigger hindrance to him than the Vulture King?
Yeah. Like you're worried about some Dornish man.
Yeah. How about I come burn Storm's End down?
Yeah, dude.
Like, you're out of your mind.
And I feel like Rhaenyra keeps feeling this disrespect among her.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if this was Viserys on the throne, if this was Jaehaerys on the throne, if this was Daemon on the throne, or
Man, if it was Daemon on the throne, it would be way different.
Then there would be no talk of Vulture Kings.
No.
Because Caraxes or Vermithor or whoever would have been there in a heartbeat. Because there is no... Or Boris would have been there in a heartbeat. There's none of this would have happened. And it's also, it takes us back to Rhaenyra being a woman, and how this is very like these men and these lords, they look down upon her because of her gender, and she's trying so hard to gain this respect. And she's like, I might be a woman, but I was, like she said, I think, did she say it last season? Or did she say it this season? But I have, like, the will of a king.
Oh, she says it in this season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is her whole thing.
Yeah.
And we keep seeing her try to break through that.
I agree. I think she does have the will of any king,
Absolutely.
But I also think she's just simply ill-equipped for the job. I think most people that come to the throne are generally ill-equipped for the job.
Yeah. Speaking of being ill for the job, we see Rhaenyra but get cut by the throne.
Yes, and that speaks volumes, man. That doesn't just happen, And, we were saying earlier in the season, we knew it was going to happen because you hear it from multiple different point of views in Fire and Blood. But we thought that maybe she was just going to grip it too tight because she was, getting flustered or...
Oh, and then she was on her period as well. So, like you were saying, she's getting flustered, but she's also very uncomfortable. She's having these aches and these pains. So, like, because, like, you see her in the first few times she sits on the throne, she's sitting, like, sideways. Her legs are turned. Like, she doesn't feel comfortable up there. And also probably, she's uncomfortable because this is her first time, like, holding court and sitting on the damn thing after 20-something years.
Yeah.
So, but also, yeah, all of that. So we thought that, because I think Mushroom says that, of her gripping it too tight.
Yes.
Like, that could have been the reason why. That's the only reason why she got cut. She didn't get cut because the throne deems her unworthy.
And I think it's really interesting that happens right after she's told that a 16-year-old girl of the faith was assaulted. And she says, I will make sure to light a candle for her the next time I visit the Sept. And the Septon is looking at her, or the Septa.
Septa, yeah.
Yeah, is like, she's stricken. You can see she hit her like a truck. She was like, what did you just say? You'll light a candle for her? Like, you need to make that right and make sure it doesn't happen to any more women of the faith. And then right after that, she gets cut. Then after she gets cut, she starts looking at all the kings on the walls that are looking down on the throne room, and it's like she can feel the pressure. Not only what's going on in the room, but having to hold up the legacy of everything that came before her, and she does not rise to the challenge.
She doesn't. She leaves,
man.
And then you can't do that. Like, we've seen multiple times kings holding court and it getting uncomfortable in there.
Yeah.
But that's why you have your hand there.
Yes.
That's why Otto was always there. That's why you need. And then Game of Thrones, it was.
You always have to have some sort of solution to
I mean, we saw in Game of Thrones, Joffrey would hold court, and he'd have his whole damn council up there
sitting before him. Yeah.
Yeah. So if it was a matter of coin, Baelish would come up there. If it was a matter of a secrecy or a whisper, Varys would come up there.
Mm-hmm.
And or if it was a matter of strategy and food or whatever, Tywin would come up there. Or Tywin would come up there. So you need people around you. You can't hold court alone with just your Kingsguard.
100%.
Because they're not going to say anything.
Mm-hmm.
And also holding court with all of these people. She didn't just take.
There was no order or anything.
You sense that when any of the kings, unless they're holding like actual court, if they're holding just petitioners in there, and it's a group of them, you feel uneasy.
Yeah.
You feel very uneasy. When they're coming one by one, it's different.
Yes.
I can tell you whatever I need to tell you. And it's very much in order. But when you take 30 petitioners at a time, it's very uncomfortable. Because 100%. If you say something that they all don't agree with,
they all start
griping at you.
Yeah.
And they start making you feel uncomfortable. And then you can't walk out on them.
No.
Because what are they going to do? Go back into this city that's being slaughtered and that has no law and no order.
Well, the queen isn't going to do anything.
So I guess we will.
Yep.
And we'll get into more of that later.
We saw not long after, right after the scene with Boros's men in the Red Keep, it goes over to Tumbleton, and we see Hugh and Ulf having a talk together.
Yep.
And it really looks like, they've made friends, honestly.
Yeah.
And we see Ulf just sitting there, talking about how, she wouldn't even let me go to the pub. He's like, not even an hour with the lads.
Not even an L with the lads.
And
that was hilarious.
It was really funny.
And everybody needs an L with the lads.
Yes, man.
Everybody does. And he's pissed.
He is, and
he's unhappy.
He's so resentful already of Rhaenyra. And he wants to be a dragon lord.
Yeah.
He has no use for being a knight.
Yeah. But this also echoes back to what Jacaerys was saying. You're going to let these commoners, these small folk, come in here and claim dragons? Yeah. They are not the type of people that need to own these dragons.
Yes. And like we said a few episodes ago, having a dragon is essentially like having a nuclear bomb in your backpack that you just walk around with all the time.
Yep.
I mean, you can't just give that to anyone. You're not going to hand, you're not going to go to downtown New York and find the first person on the side of the street and be like,
codes.
Be like, here's a grenade, bro.
Or here's a grenade.
Here's a backpack full of grenades.
Here's a flamethrower.
Yeah. But you got to promise you're only going to use them for what I want you to do.
You got to be justified with it. Yeah.
Oh, and also, you can't go to the bar.
Also, I control you, by the way.
Yeah.
I control you for the rest of your life. You answer to me.
You can't go anywhere without me telling you.
Yeah, Rhaenyra doing that to Ulf was ridiculous.
Ridiculous, man.
I get it in a way. She wants to keep an eye on him.
And she doesn't want him to die, yes, because then she loses one of her dragons. But how does she not see that she's running a huge risk of turning one of those dragons against her, which would be way, way, way worse than just losing it all together?
And you see Ulf put that into Hugh's brain. It's like he was layering this little, maybe like a line of treachery almost, this deceitfulness into him that Hugh feels more honorable than Ulf does because he's like a sot. Yeah. And they call him that in the book. But Hugh feels like a man of honor.
Yeah. Almost. And Hugh, he was like a decent man, like he was a smith. He had a trade. Yeah. He had a family he took care of.
Yeah.
He was
a simple man.
Yes, he was a normal person. He's like me or you if we were in that universe, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully.
Hopefully we wouldn't be like Ulf.
Yeah. But it just makes me nervous of what's to come. What's going to come of these little tiny jabs at these characters, because she orders him not to interfere in the city.
Mm-hmm.
He must stay outside the city. What does Hugh do? Goes into the city.
Yeah.
Without the dragon.
Attacks an
per
innocent
se.
man to do it too.
Attacks an innocent man. Also something that it feels like he wouldn't do. But now he's already starting to turn on his other values.
And we got it confirmed that they're switching out every 2 weeks. We knew that they were taking turns.
Is it 2 weeks or 2 days? Because he said, I'll see you in 2 days.
Oh, he said 2 days? So, yeah, okay. We know that they're switching out
so
every 2 days.
So we have these newly anointed knights with dragons that could destroy this whole city, sleeping on a hill outside. What are we doing? What are we doing? We don't even have a host out here. We have nothing out here,
man.
So I get their frustration, and I would probably be just as frustrated.
But
with it.
Like you said, Ulf kind of planting the seeds of maybe we'd be better off if we did something else, because Hugh looks at him and he says, "Would you go back to how things were?" Because Ulf is really reminiscing on his life before.
Yeah.
You can tell he misses it. And Hugh asks him, "Would you go back to how it was before?" And Ulf kind of sits there and thinks about it, and he says, "No, but I can't really say that my life is any better off, neither." And then looks at Ulf and says, looks at Hugh and says, "Can you say that?" And Hugh just kind of looks at Ulf, because I think Hugh really feels the same way. And then, of course, like you were saying, he goes into the city, finds his wife, who
has nothing to do with him,
who wants nothing to do with him.
And it's so sad.
And she kind of leads us to believe that some really, really, really terrible things happened to her on the way from King's Landing to Tumbleton.
Yeah, very bad.
Because we know that King's Road is a terrible place.
Terrible place.
Especially for a woman traveling by herself. While he was off, and he says that he did it
for them,
but
also there might have been some like
any man you say, you could be a dragon lord
and a knight and maybe a lord.
Any man
when you just lost your daughter and you don't have any food.
Yeah. You can go from a peasant to one of the most powerful men in the world overnight. Anybody's going to take that.
Yeah.
And
especially if you're confident about your Targaryen lineage.
Yeah, and nobody could say that, "Oh, I did it all for my family."
Yeah,
you did it because you wanted to be a dragon lord.
Yep. You wanted to be a dragon lord, and you wanted to have that kind of power.
Really, really, really good scene there.
I loved how Vermithor and Silverwing
kind of nuzzling
each other, kind of like how Caraxes and Syrax were doing earlier this season.
They've grown close.
But they're also close because, I don't think, solely show watchers will know, but, like, those are the dragons of Jaehaerys and Alysanne. So it's...
who are, like, the most famous couple in Westeros history.
The best king and queen we've ever seen, we've ever had.
She was easily the best queen.
The best part about Fire and Blood is when I get to hear about Alysanne.
Yeah.
And what she flies off and does when she goes to
Alysanne's laws, the Queen's laws.
When she goes to the Night's Watch and treats with them.
Goes to the Northern Lords and gets rid of the first night rule.
The law of the first night.
Yeah.
Yeah, gets rid of that.
Which was awesome.
Yeah. She does so much for the country.
Which is like essentially, if you don't know what the first night was, it was essentially Prima Nocta.
Yeah.
If you just look up what Prima Nocta is, and that's what Alysanne got rid of.
Yeah. So she did a lot for Westeros.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so for them to be together and be a powerful couple, their dragons were also like this power couple at the same time. So I thought
I
that was
cute. I love that as well.
Thought that was cute, just to see real quick, and I hoped that we would see that as well.
So
this next scene with Rhaenyra listening to Alicent, treating with her, right here, about Ormond and about Helena.
Oh yeah, man. is this the scene where Rhaenyra tells her that? So she tells Rhaenyra that Helena
she straight up told
is
her.
with child.
Yeah.
And probably that was the best thing to do.
Yeah, honestly, yeah.
You should have probably led with that.
Yeah. Instead of trying to sneak through the walls.
Now, I think that Rhaenyra probably wants to think that she wouldn't have the child killed. I think 100% it's very likely that Rhaenyra would absolutely have that child killed, especially if it comes out male.
Yeah.
Daemon is not going to let that slide.
No.
I mean,
that council won't either.
No, they're going to be like, hey.
That's what needs to happen,
you
which
need
is
to kill
sad. But
oh, yeah, for sure.
We don't
but
agree
think about
with
if you were in that position and your entire reign and family depended on this one.
Yeah, and she later's like, you'll never hear from us again. We'll go off somewhere else. Oh, really? I've heard about the Blackfire rebellions many
until you show
times.
Up 3 years later
with the Golden Company or the Second Sons.
And, well, Rhaenyra basically, she comes up with this plan of, you're going to go to Harrenhal.
What the?
And you're going to kill Aemon. Absolutely insane.
Was she saying you're going to kill Aemon, or she's going to, disguise one of her guards to kill Aemon?
I think
Alicent's this distraction for him.
It could be either. I think she was saying that she has to kill Aemon. I think that's what she was saying.
That's
which
crazy.
Is truly the first cruel thing that Rhaenyra does, in my opinion. She receives this nickname, Rhaenyra the Cruel.
Right, later in
the books.
Yeah.
But this was the first.
It felt like the first cruel thing that she proposes.
Yeah. We see in the scene right after that first talk with Alicent and Rhaenyra, Mysaria and Rhaenyra are walking through the hallways, and
she asks her about the babe.
Yeah, Rhaenyra tells Mysaria that she's pregnant, and she asks Mysaria, so you had no idea? And she immediately says no. And Rhaenyra kind of looks at her for a second, because Rhaenyra's thinking, how?
You're my
you know everything.
Secrets, yeah.
But she's like, okay. It looks like Rhaenyra buys it. I think she believed.
Yeah, she definitely bought it. Because she also has this kind of affection for her. So I feel like she lets that also cloud a little bit of her judgment when it comes to Mysaria, because she feels for her in a way.
Yeah.
So she also feels this loyalty that Mysaria has to her, because she helped her a lot through season 2. And she saved her life in season 2. Mm-hmm. So, she trusts her deeply. But this weird thing going on with Mysaria, this feels like she's about to betray her.
Yeah, there's a bunch of double-crossing going on behind the scenes.
Why would she do this?
I think, genuinely, man, she hates all of them. And I think when Alicent was talking to her last episode, and she's talking to... Mysaria's talking to Alicent, and she says, those are big words coming from a high tower. And the way she says high tower is, with so much malice and disgust. It's like it's a slur, Yeah. And
because Otto looked down on her, you know?
And calls her, WHORE word.
Yeah.
And then later in that same scene, Alicent calls Rhaenyra. She's like, "You really gonna trust a dragon rider?" Says also like it's this sort of slur.
Yeah.
And she kind of, Mysaria does this little double take. She's like, that's actually true. I don't trust these dragon riders. And yeah, Rhaenyra has been good to me so far, but
Daemon wasn't.
And what about the future Targaryens? How are they gonna be? What are they going to use their dragons for?
Yeah, Mysaria kind of pulls back and kind of looks at this grand scheme that she might be a part of.
Mm-hmm.
And she solely cares for the people.
Exactly.
Kind of like how Varys claims he does in the show. He's solely for the people and all this stuff. I just don't buy it.
I don't buy it.
I think she's trying to gain power like how Laris tries to gain power.
Yeah.
And like he's out here with Aegon and everything, but he knows a day is going to come where this loyalty will be rewarded again.
Yeah.
It's all for something. It's not based off of true loyalty. It's off of opportunity of power.
So I agree. And I think Masari, like you said, she's looking in the grand scheme of things, and she comes to this conclusion: if I just hate all these highborn people, I don't like any of them. And what do I think is going to? I think it wants us to think that she's like thinking, what's going to help the common people? But I think she's thinking, how do I get out of this on top with the most power?
Yeah. Man.
You want to move to this scene?
Yeah, with Corlys?
Yes, so...
Corlys is pissing me off, man.
Yes, dude. Oh, my gosh.
I can't stand him. He just keeps running away, and now he's just treating Alan like crap. He's talking bad about Rhaenyra.
And there's this really good exchange between them when he's like, you're going to take her side when she won't even legitimize you or recognize you?
Yeah, the balls for you to say that.
Yeah, the balls for you to say that. How many years did it take you to do that same thing? And Corlys, he looks a little bit struck by it, as he should, because it was 100% true. Side note, Alan looks dope in his Valyrian armor.
Good.
Really good. And Alan is very capable. We know he's extremely capable, but not only is he crafty with a sword, he can sail a ship.
He can command the men.
He can command the men.
And he looks good next to Rhaenyra on that council.
He does, man.
He speaks with such
You said it during the
royalty.
show. If you're looking for a hand, look right next to you, man.
Look right next to you, man.
Which, of course, in a practical sense, it needs to be Corlys. Like, in a perfect world, if Corlys is right next to you, it needs to be Corlys because he's the commander of House Velaryon.
Yeah.
He's of Valyrian descent, and he's super smart, and he's really good at the game,
Yeah, he's good at this game.
Yeah.
And Alan just got here. So, let's hold our horses a little bit with naming him anything. But Corlys needs to go back.
Mm-hmm.
And, we've already talked about everything. But he's pissing me off, man.
We see in this scene, Alan is hanging a bunch of the Triarchy pirates.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. Really cool scene, but
really cool.
Oh my gosh, there's so many bodies hanging around.
Yeah, there's
them.
like 20 bodies hanging around
At least,
in trees, dude. God, and then
it's kind of brutal. Yeah, look how many.
Jesus.
There's so many. They're literally in every part of the screen.
Corlys finally gives something and says that Aegon is. Did he say Aegon is headed for or is at Rook's Rest? Is that what he said?
Yeah. So,
no, Tylan is at Rook's. Tylan's at Rook's Rest.
He said Tylan survived the Battle of the Gullah, and he's. Did he say that he's on the way to Rook's Rest? Is that what he said?
He's at Rook's Rest.
Got you.
That's huge for
Rhaenyra.
Rhaenyra.
That is huge.
Because
how does he know that?
He said the pirates. He's been capturing and killing all these pirates. They say.
Oh right,
that he's headed. That Tylan is headed for them. But it makes me think that why would the pirates just not kill Tylan?
Mm-hmm.
Because of what Lohar, did to all of the Lannisters.
Yeah, right.
Just kicked them off the ship. But I guess the rest of the pirates wouldn't have saw that. They wouldn't have saw her.
That's a good point.
Throw him off. So they would have just been like, oh, there's bro.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm headed this way.
It's like, I'll pay you. In classic Lannister fashion, he's like, so much coin to you, bro, if you get me where I need to go.
See, and that leads me into what I wrote down about this next scene with Tylan. He's digging a grave while Aegon, the two cripples, and Larys sit there on a log and not just do anything.
And it was so funny because Larys is like, it needs to be deeper, bro, okay? And he's like, this is deep as this going. He's like, the dogs are gonna find it.
It's funny because last season at the season finale, we see Tylan have this that mud wrestling wrestling thing.
Yeah, with Lohar.
With Lohar.
Yeah.
So
where he gets his butt whooped, but valiant effort.
Yeah.
Okay. I like how most of these Lannisters, man. Some of them appear like pansies. These boys are not soft.
No, they're not soft.
They're super lavish. You know what I mean? They're very
rich.
They're golden. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But there's a reason they're the most powerful house in the realm, debatably.
Oh yeah. They have this ambition behind them that it doesn't matter what they fall into or what they get themselves into. They always find or pay their way out of this.
Yeah.
So it is funny, but I just thought it was hilarious.
If you can't beat them, buy them.
I just thought it was hilarious how we're seeing Thailand, out of all people, start digging this hole.
Yeah, I love it.
I just thought it was funny. But they have a very important talk right here. And Aegon just straight up asks him, am I a good man? That is huge. And then you see Tylen stumble over his words, and he's trying to find the right thing to say.
He's because he knows he's not.
And it was just Aegon felt like, whoa, okay, that's my answer.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
But I feel like what Tylen says is actually true. It might be, because I feel like he was kind of fishing. He didn't just automatically say, yes, of course, I think you're a good man. But he also didn't say, no, I don't think you're a good man. He didn't want to tell him, yeah, you're a good man. I think he searched for, I think there's good
in you
and bad
in all men.
In all men.
But your counsel and the way you were raised and some of the things that you did, they kind of shaped you into into your darker side coming out of you.
Yeah.
And that is true for everybody.
100%.
And the way that they were raised will eventually determine how, they come out to be.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't always mean that is what you have to be. Now, you can get older and you can strive through these trials when you're younger. But when you're older, you eventually become your own person.
Yep.
You have your own actions will determine
100%.
what kind of person you will be.
There comes a point, people are products of their upbringing, I genuinely believe.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
There comes a point where you are your own person and you are responsible for your own actions.
Exactly. And I think Aegon realizes that.
Yes, I think so too. And you see this kind of look on his face after he says that. And I feel like it kind of actually resonates with him,
Mm-hmm.
He kind of twiddles his thumb a little bit, and he almost grins and then frowns and then grins and then frowns. He's really rolling it around in his brain what he just said, and he says, okay, then we'll sell to Essos.
Yeah.
So there's that for right now.
So for right now,
we'll see how that goes.
For right now, it seems that they are on the move.
We see that scene with Rhaena, and we see two dragons.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, we're wondering at the beginning, wait a second.
At first, I didn't even think about Bela.
Yeah, right?
At first, I was like, oh, my God, is that Grey Ghost out there?
Yes.
For some reason.
So awesome.
For some reason, I thought it was the two wild dragons out there. Or maybe it was Vhagar and Sheepstealer riding around out there because we still have no idea where Vhagar is.
Yeah.
So,
it would have been crazy if he had gone all the way to the Vale. But
still,
yeah,
who knows?
They can fly fast, man.
I mean, one of the, Bela, I think, and Adam, suggested that she's in the caves in the Western Lands, near Casterly Rock.
Yeah.
Which would make sense.
Mm-hmm.
So,
which I loved how they were kind of talking about it's a little detail, but I love when they talk about the geography of Game of Thrones. And they actually, because, the Western Lands are very mountainous. They're super hilly. There's caves everywhere. I love that.
It doesn't look like how it does in the show. Yes. In Season 8, they absolutely butchered Casterly Rock.
Yes, Casterly Rock itself is on a mountaintop.
It's in a freaking mountain.
It's the highest point in Westeros. It's technically higher than the Wall. Casterly Rock is higher than the Wall because it sits on Casterly Rock. It sits on the rock.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Jason Lannister talked about that with Rhaenyra in season 1. Like, he was like, you could see it, like, for miles, or, like, whatever. Like,
yeah, I think he even mentioned that it's higher than
yeah,
even the
he
wall.
did mention that. So, I like it. I like it, too. Like, what you're saying. When they finally put some true description of these beautiful places that are in these books.
And we see Storm's End in, season 1. And it's magnificent.
That's exactly how it looks.
Magnificent.
Man.
I feel like the only place that was really given any thought, besides like there was River Run and Winterfell and Dragonstone, and I feel like those were really given a lot of thought.
My only problem with any castle, and it's been redone 3 freaking times, it's the Eyrie. They never get it right.
They never get it right.
They never get it right.
I don't think they're going to either.
They'll never get it right.
Yeah.
But
it's one of the most badass.
It takes days to get to the top of the Eyrie.
Man.
It takes days. When you read A Song of Ice and Fire and you get to Catelyn's chapter,
and you have to take donkeys to get up the side of the mountain.
The side, and then she has that guide that takes her through up it.
Or you can go up in the turnip crate.
Yeah, you go up in the
through
crate.
The moon door.
So it takes, like, you have this. You got the Bloody Gate at the bottom, and you have this little tiny town at the bottom.
And then, on top of that, past the Bloody Gate, you have the High Road, which stretches for frickin' leagues and leagues and leagues, dude. It will take a week on the High Road alone, which is so dangerous. There's shadow cats everywhere, which we never even see in the show, which is a big deal in the Vale.
It puts it in perspective when somebody gets pushed through the moon door. They are falling forever.
Forever,
freaking ever.
I love the scene when Lady Jane Eyre, they throw that guy through the moon door, and she's just watching. She's like, it always fascinates me, or never ceases to fascinate me. And then turns around, sees Rhaena standing there, walks up to her, and smacks the ever-loving shit out of her, bro.
That is insane.
It is insane.
That is in classic Lady Aaron form.
100%.
They're all freaking ridiculous. They're all crazy, and I just don't understand.
Part of me kind of likes her, though. I don't know why.
I like her, too. Yeah, she's cool.
Yeah.
She's very...
Which, we know Jon Arryn was him. We know Jon Arryn was him, and he was a good man.
Yeah.
It's a shame we never get to see him. But, the story starts with the death of Jon Arryn.
Yeah.
So that's neither here nor there. But I like the Arryns themselves. I feel like...
They're always important to this story. I mean,
Lysa really gives the Arryns a bad name. And then she has this half-wit loser...
of a son.
Yeah.
Robin.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's terrible.
He's the worst,
He's the worst. But then, we're talking about, Jon. He warded Ned and Robert.
Robert, yeah. And that's where Jon gets his namesake from.
Yeah, so, the Arryns, and then we see it in House of the Dragon as well.
Jon Snow, I mean.
Oh, Jon Snow.
Yeah, that's where he gets his name from, is Jon Arryn.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, anyway.
But you see the utmost importance of the Arryns, and Rhaenyra's mom,
and they protect the East. You know what I mean? They're super strategically important.
Yeah, and like how I said, Rhaenyra's mom, Emma, is an Arryn. These are important figures in this whole.
Who seemed like a pretty good person.
She seemed like an amazing person. Yeah. She seemed like the most kindest.
I hated that they chose to have that last son. You know what I mean? Because he just couldn't stop
and
trying
she told
for a son.
Viserys at the end of that, this is it. This would be my last.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it again. And that pushes Viserys to make that choice of all right, cut her open.
Yeah.
I gotta get it. I gotta get my son out of there. This is my last chance. And if you say...
And the Maester does say, I can save... I might be able to save your son, but I think he was basically saying that
no, he said I could save the babe if I do this procedure.
Yes, that's what he was saying. I can maybe save the babe, but your wife is lost. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He knew and then that feeds into the Maesters. Was he sabotaging Viserys right then? Because he knew I could probably kill the babe and save the mom and save Emma, and you guys can live, and Viserys will be happy, or I can destroy this era and any chance of hope at him having an heir, and that allows Otto and Alicent to move in and to make more Hightower heirs, even though they are Targaryens, but they're
really
Hightower,
good point,
they have Hightower blood, so it feeds into the big conspiracy. Are they behind the downfall?
I can't wait to make a Grandmaster conspiracy video.
Yes, we will definitely get into that, but yeah, so we see the two dragons. We see Bela and Adam flying around. I guess that they'll see each other next episode. I guess they'll
Probably,
find. I guess they'll find Rhaena, and maybe Sheepstealer does some whack, freaking something. Tries to go after Moondancer, go after Seasmoke, or maybe Seasmoke has to defend Moondancer from Sheepstealer, because you see at the end of the trailer, you see Sheepstealer roar, and do whatever. So what
a badass looking dragon too.
Oh yeah, so cool. So we'll see what comes of that. But you see, Lady Arryn is troubled by this. She's like, "Why are you here?
Yeah, you were trying to get me killed.
You trying to get me killed? Like they're still, they think you're dead. They think the rider of Sheepstealer is dead, and you just fly in here. What are you doing?"
What an idiot.
And so everybody in the Eyrie is like, "What is that? Like what?"
And at the end of that scene, she says, "If you come here again, it will be the last time you do."
Yeah,
like
she wants her gone.
Yeah, she says, "I will kill you." To smack her is absolutely crazy.
Yeah, I also want to know
she's
where...
She's a princess, man.
I also want to know, where did Rhaena land? Now, are they saying, are they going to keep to the book description? Like how we just talked about the Eyrie. Like, did she land at the bottom and walk her ass all the way up to the top?
Yeah.
Or did she land at the top of the Eyrie and just hop off like Visenya did?
Probably that.
Yeah.
I would do that. That's what I would imagine. Yeah,
but I feel like
not going up.
Lady Arryn is still, like, I would feel more better about it if she landed up top.
Yeah.
With the people that I have in my household, rather than the people at the bottom.
100%. That's a really good point as well. Yeah.
But
although, like, the people who guard the Bloody Gate, like the knight of the gate position is a big deal.
Huge
in
deal.
the Vale. So, we see in this scene right here, Alice and Aemon talking to each other, and she's trying to convince him, like, let the world think you're dead. Let them fight it out.
Yeah. Yeah, she's like, stay here.
Yeah.
Lay low. Let me keep deceiving you. And eventually we will rise to the top of this.
And he goes and sits on the bed, and she goes to him and starts standing over him. You
could feel that affection that comes later in the episode. I thought she was about to just hop on right there.
I thought they were about to have sex. Yes, 100%. Yeah. But, like, she almost has this, like, kind of dominatrix type vibe. Like, she's very much, like, dominating Daemon and
Aemon.
Aemon, sorry.
Okay.
Aemon, that's who I meant.
She dominated the other one too.
Yeah, she did, but just in different ways.
In different ways, yeah.
But she has this, like, mom type energy over him, but also, like, this sexual energy, because I think Aemon has not had any love his entire life, so, like, he conflates this...
And motherly figures.
Yeah, and motherly figures. He conflates this, like, sexual, affection with, like, motherly affection.
Right, because he doesn't know the true difference of it.
Because he hasn't really ever had either.
He combines both of them, and that's why he kissed Alicent. That's why he goes with Sylvie and, like, like, curls up in a ball.
In the in the previous episode, when he has that nightmare, he wakes up and she embraces him on the floor, and he says, "Mother."
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is truly weird. He's the weirdest character.
He's so messed up, man.
But I wanted to point out something real quick.
Yeah.
Between Aemon and Rhaena, real quick. they're kind of resembling each other here in this episode because Rhaena tells Lady Aaron that my whole life I wanted a dragon, but now I have nothing. Well, who else wanted a dragon for their whole life, and now they have nothing? It's Aemond. But also, Aemond has nothing and doesn't have a dragon at this point. But now Rhaena has a dragon, and she doesn't have anything. So I thought it was weird, but I also thought it was pretty cool because those were the last two I thought that would resemble each other and have some type of parallel between each other. But they both long for these dragons, and Aemond got his, went away shorter amount of time.
Also, her mother died when she was very young. She never really had any affection from Daemon.
Yep.
Viserys, was always busy
with Aegon and
with his other children.
Yeah.
And ruling and then dying.
Yep.
And then Alicent had no use for him whatsoever.
Yep.
So they're both, these neglected kind of lone wolf type characters right now.
Yeah, these second sons.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah. Like they're all outcasts,
Yeah.
And we know what, her character's been merged with Nettles, right? And we know what Daemon is told to do with Nettles later in the show. And now we know what Rhaenyra has told Alicent to do to Aemond in the show.
Oh, that's a good one. I wrote that down, but I didn't write that. That's a great parallel between the two. So, we have this.
Both of their parents, the only parents that they have left,
might have to
kill him.
Do both of them.
Yeah. Oh.
That is nice.
It's a good one.
See, I was not expecting to have parallels between these two characters.
The more you talked about it, the more I came to see it, too. We see this scene with Bela and Alan. Thank you.
You're always mixing them up, man.
Always, dude. I'm always calling Alan Adam.
Yeah,
and Adam Alan.
Yeah.
I know the difference.
I know you do. I know you do.
But you can't blame me. Okay.
No, there's plenty of people having the same problem.
Yes. But Alan is talking to Bela here, and they share a very, very, very passionate kiss.
Yeah.
And we see, Bela kind of walks up to him, and
he's like,
stops her. He's like, you should go to bed.
Yeah.
You need to rest. And then she stops for a second and then goes right back in. Approaches him, and they very passionately embrace and kiss. And she looks at him and says, "You're very dutiful." Very good,
Yep.
Characterization.
Yeah, for sure.
Alan.
You had a problem with this scene. I enjoyed it with this scene. I'm thinking about Adam in this scene.
Yeah?
Because I don't know how he'll take it.
Right.
Because later in this, or in the last episode, Adam talks with Bela, and you kind of feel like he cares for her.
For sure. But he's talking about running away with her, man.
And let's go on an adventure if we go into, if we're traders or whatever.
Just make sure you eat first. Yeah. Or as long as there's food involved.
And now Alan comes and is like, do you need a bed? So, they're both looking after her. They both like her, it seems. But she has chosen Alan. This worries me. Well, how will this affect Adam? Will he look down?
Who is debatably the more important brother?
Definitely to Rhaenyra, it feels like it's a godsend to her.
And he's so loyal to her, too.
And Adam has always been resentful of Corlys. Alan has just put up with it.
Yeah.
Adam's like, we're owed this. We're owed this money and this pledge.
Whereas Alan is like, do you know how lucky we are to even like be in a position where we have jobs, we have full bellies constantly, you know.
Yeah, it's like he knows of us, but he doesn't. He's not going to legitimize us.
Like
but we're lucky to be alive.
Yeah, we're being taken care of, man. Like, do you know how many bastards born of lords get taken care of by their fathers? Not very many.
Not very many.
Yeah. Not everybody's Jon Snow, bro.
Like, a lot of them get sent. Speaking of, a lot of them just get sent to the wall.
Mm-hmm.
So it's.
They don't get to live in a castle for 15 years before they go either.
Right, and I liked this scene, because I felt it coming in the second episode when they shared that scene on the beach.
It does add an interesting dynamic to it.
And
too.
finally, we get
layers.
a little bit more Bela. Bela's doing more. Alan's doing more, and I'm kind of glad that we finally reached this peak.
So we get to the next scene here.
Gwaine has arrived.
He's teleported.
He is teleported to Tumbleton.
You know, perhaps Ulf gave him a.
Ulf took him.
He Ubered. Ulf showed up and said, "You're Gwaine? You order dragon? You order." Sorry.
You want an L? There you go with the lads.
But he shows up.
Yeah.
And he's immediately like mocking. Ormond is immediately mocking Gwaine. Gwaine is one of the highlights of this entire show. He is a total badass.
I love him.
He's a good person. He's got a solid head on his shoulders. Does he genuinely fight for the team that we are rooting against? Yes, he does. But that doesn't matter. That doesn't change that he's actually a good person. He cares about the small folk.
Yep.
And like we were talking about how a lot of these high towers, at least outwardly, they're very like what we imagine like knights being, like good knights being. You know, that's how they appear. You know, that's how like you would want to be. You know, and they're super rich. They run debatably the most important city in Westeros.
Yeah, command one of the biggest armies, and they have a dragon at the same time.
They have a dragon.
And you sense here that Ormond is still looking down on Gwaine with how he talks to him.
Yeah.
And also Gwaine is dirty. What we see in the later part of the episode
severely affects Ormond.
Ormond immediately gets up, he walks away, and he wants nothing to do with this. He's like, and then you were talking about it earlier, he like almost throws shade at the possibility of Gwaine being gay. He's like throwing that in his face. He's like, I don't care where you've been or what you've done, this is what we're doing, this is what the course we're on. And then Darren is gets told to, go with Gwaine. And you sense that, like, Darren's like, yes, you're finally here. Like, I've been with this freaking madman.
Yeah, that's another thing, is you finally see Darren, like, you finally see Darren show what he really thinks. Because we know, like, he knows that Ormond is, has terrible anger issues and is very immature. But you finally get to hear, like, Darren say, he's cruel. He's not a good person. He runs a band of savages.
Calling the Hightower Army a band of savages is ridiculous.
Crazy.
Because we think of them, like you just said, as this kind of higher up army and men. And we saw in episode 2 when they took Tumbleton, I think it was episode 2 or 3, when they take Tumbleton, that they are not.
No.
They are savages. They are mean. They are these terrible men.
But most of these people are just normal people, and that's on their commander. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Because that's in real life too. That's how it goes. When an occupying force goes in somewhere, you have to have some strong command to keep men in check, to keep them from, pillaging, plundering, and worse.
And I like how Darren is pleading with him to stay.
Yeah,
that's his only friend. Honestly, like he grew up with no one but Gwaine as this friend and mentor, and that's probably why Darren is such a good person.
And he's never been with his father. He's never been with his mother. I know Gawain is his uncle,
Yeah.
but he probably is more like a father to him, because we kind of got this vibe that Ormond was more like this kind of father figure
Yeah.
to him. We kind of said that maybe Ormond is his father, but of course he's not because he rides a dragon.
But you get that vibe from it.
Yeah.
But it's not the case.
No.
It feels like a prisoner.
Yes.
It feels like a prisoner, and Darren hates being a part of this host.
And also, we kind of I've got some fishy vibes between Ormond and Darren. Like maybe even Ormond might have abused Darren
That
in
is
certain ways.
a good point.
You know what I mean? And he makes this passing comment when he says to make sure that Gawain gets a bath. He says, "But mind yourself. Back to the wall."
That is a good point.
Like don't show your ass to him. It's like when he's naked, like in bath time, like
That was a good point.
Yeah.
Because we saw
like,
earlier.
Why would you think about his uncle abusing
weird.
him at all? Like it kind of makes me think,
Yeah, because we saw earlier when he brings the Lord and Lady of Tumbleton to him when they first take over the city. He just gets up out of the bath, butt-ass naked, in front of Darren.
Yeah.
And in front of his men, in front of the Lord and Lady.
Good point. Which I know, like, nudity was probably looked at a bit differently.
Yeah, because, like, he's going to be like, we're all men here.
Yeah.
So it's okay. But, like...
There was a highborn lady there.
There's a highborn lady here, and he's disrespecting her in that manner. And
I think he was also trying to, like, son the Lord there,
Oh, definitely.
He was probably like, like... I'm more of a man than you are.
Yeah,
what I mean?
But feeding into your theory though, that is an example of that.
Maybe
100%. Maybe it makes Darren uncomfortable, and he just keeps doing it.
Yeah, 100%.
So it's still a form of like harassment in a way. Yeah.
That's deep. That's deep and a really touchy subject.
And then we see at the end of this conversation between Gawain and Darren. What's my mother? Like, how's my mother? Did you see my mother?
Yeah.
And it echoes the same thing. Allison asking about Darren in season 2. About Gawain.
And
it's the same thing.
Yeah, and all Gawain says is, stalwart.
Yeah,
he's stalwart. He's a good guy.
Yeah, plays his flute.
A fancy in many girls' imaginations.
Yeah. And we see later, Gawain and Ormond, they look down on him training, and he's taking on three.
Yeah, he's like that too, man.
At the same time, so it looks like Darren would be a really good king.
Mm-hmm.
With the way he talks, the way he carries himself, the way he honors his Targaryen history and his dragon, and the way that he didn't want to kill that innocent man. The way he wants to stick up for the innocent.
And we see in that same scene that we're talking about with Gawain and Darren, Darren says that I hate who I am when I'm with Ormond. And, Ormond makes this comment at Gawain when they're all at the table. And Gawain kind of snickers.
Yeah.
Or no, Gawain doesn't snicker. Darren kind of like snickers at what Ormond said about Gawain. And then Gawain looks at Darren. He's like, "Why are you laughing at that?" And
Yeah.
And Darren like looks ashamed right after that because he's like, "Why am I laughing at that? I'm not like that."
Yeah.
And that was one of the highlights of the episode. Right there, I think it gave us a lot of insight into that whole what's going on in the High Tower.
And I really like the addition of Gawain in this because it is not in Fire and Blood. Gawain is not here with the rest of the host. I think he's dead by now.
Yeah.
And he's not here, but I like the addition of him because it adds more depth and layers to Darren, and it allows his true character to be born in the show.
Yeah.
Because in the book, we don't get much of Darren at all. Like, we see him in Tumbleton, and, we can't, speak about too much of his character, but without getting into spoilers. But we see a lot of just him in Tumbleton, with Tessarian.
Yeah.
And Ormond. But that's about it. We don't really get a big old kind of POV.
I love how much Gawain has gotten in this.
Yeah.
And he's such a good character.
He was very vital. And I think he was very vital to Kristen, and I think he was very vital to Darren.
His actor is really good.
Yeah, Freddie, I think his name's Freddie Fox. I think that's his name. He is amazing. And I have been watching this other show on Apple TV called Slow Horses, and him and Olivia Cook, funny enough, are in the show.
Yeah.
And he is amazing in it. He has this witty charisma in it, and I can see why they probably saw his performance in that show and then casted him in this, because he is really good as an actor in general.
The scene right after that, we see Helena weaving a tapestry.
Yeah, has she been the one this whole time weaving this tapestry in the intro?
That's a really good freaking theory, man.
Yeah.
That's a really good theory.
Because
I had not thought about that.
We think she calls herself a dream. Like Allison calls her a dreamer at the end, and then
Rhaenyra calls her a dreamer. Yeah.
Like Daenerys was. So it would make sense that she has seen probably all these different outcomes. Because also, let's talk about the tapestry real quick. Let's talk about it real quick. Everything on that tapestry is not absolute historical accuracy that has happened.
Yeah.
We see it multiple times through the tapestry, but we also see it, like, a big example is Corlys killing Lohar. That's the most recent one. He has his halberd, like, stabbing her in the air.
Yeah.
None of that happened, but of course history would want to tell you that Corlys defeated Lohar and killed her.
Not his bastard son.
Not his bastard son. Of course, nobody's going to say that. It's probably a reason why it's not in Fire and Blood either.
That's a really good point.
So that's another thing I like about the show, because yes, people will, even us, will be like, that's not in the book. We don't like that. But also, let's take a step back. Is it not in the book, or did it not get to Mushroom? Did it not get to
Maribald
and Orwell and the High Sept? Did it not get to these people? Because they all have their different agendas in the book itself.
Yeah.
So it gives you almost three different things to believe in the book.
Very true.
So you can also look at this show as the actual historical accuracy of what happened in Fire and Blood.
That's what I've always assumed, is that Fire and Blood was it's second-hand accounts, second, third, fourth-hand accounts from a bunch of different people.
Yeah.
And that this show is showing you, because it's a mix of all the different point of views from the different characters. I think it's showing that history gets so muddied in translation. It gets very lost in translation, and that this is what actually happened. That's how I've always taken it.
And you can take that with any kind of long historical book. Mm-hmm. And I mean, people say that about like the Bible itself.
Yeah.
It's
which I mean is undoubtedly true to an extent, right?
There's certain books that have been taken out of it over the course of years. It's been narrated and
through different eras of history since the Bible was first written. Tens of thousands, if not millions, of Bibles have been destroyed in different campaigns throughout history. It was originally written in different languages, some of which, like Latin, for example, there's not exact translations for a lot of stuff, and then it goes to different continents, and people, change religion for, their own purposes.
And then you have, the separation of church and state when they were, at one time, they were one sole thing.
Yeah.
So they would kind of force different things and different ideologies from the book itself to persuade their own laws to get passed and
100%.
Certain motives to be played out. So that is essentially kind of like how Fire and Blood is portrayed at the same time.
I like that. At the end of that scene with Helena, after she's weaving the tapestry, we see what she was weaving in that moment. and it was
Oh my
Damon laying naked.
Amen.
Aemon laying naked, and because you see the blue, you see the blue sapphire.
Yeah. And he's curled up.
Yes. And you said it kind of looked like a vagina.
It kind of did. It kind of did.
It kind of really did.
Now, was it that? Was it like an eye? Was it
like a pool of blood?
Was it a pool of blood? Was it like a coming of?
And it was something. I think we only see the sapphire eye, right? Does something happen to his other eye? And that's what we're seeing it from.
Is he lying there? Is he lying dead? Is he being reborn?
Why is it black around him?
That's true. Why is black around the other one?
And then,
you're talking about
like
around him.
it's in because he's in red, right?
Yeah.
He's laying in red, and then there's black all around him.
Yeah.
Almost as if he's sinking into something. Bro.
All right. But yes, what is going on? And
I don't know. A lot of different things.
I don't even know. Also, we were talking about that, and Allison's trying to get Helena to keep eating and everything, and she won't eat because she's troubled.
Yeah.
She's nervous, she's scared. But also, she starts. Was it Helena picking her nails?
She was poking herself with the threading needle, like jabbing herself in the thumb.
Really?
And she was bleeding, yeah.
Okay.
She had like little holes in her thumb from poking herself with the sewing needle. She's like actually, doing self-harm, which is a super touchy subject on YouTube, but
yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if we can actually get into detail about it.
We'll just we hope that doesn't come of anything else, but
yeah.
With Allison leaving, it worries me with Helena because she's always had Allison. She's always had her family at least around. Now she's going to have to deal with Rhaenyra. And you see that in the trailer.
There's a scene there where Allison was like, "I'm doing this for you,"
Yeah.
She's like, "For me or for you?" And Allison just kind of looks at her and she's like, "Doesn't matter." Well, to Helena, it does.
It does.
It really does matter why you're doing it. It just, once again, Allison is a terrible mother.
She really is.
Genuinely, I don't think she cares about a whole lot more than herself.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Helena is her favorite child. She does care somewhat about Helena, but number one to Allison is Allison.
Absolutely. It's always been that way.
Yeah.
And I thought, she did put Helena first, but at the end of the day, she only cares about herself, and 100%. She was taught that by Otto.
Really powerful scene, though. A whole lot of foreshadowing there.
A whole lot.
That's what Helena's scenes are all filled with, is just mega foreshadowing.
Yeah, constant foreshadowing. Speaking of,
in this next scene, we see... Yeah, dude. There's 3 dragon eggs at Harrenhal. Was it 3? Or
no,
was it
there was
more?
like 6.
Okay, yeah. And Dreamfire. Dreamfire.
Yeah, left a clutch of eggs.
Left a clutch of eggs.
From when we were talking about it, when Rhaena Targaryen was here, it's 5 eggs. 5 eggs was in the case here.
Yeah.
And Alice has just been holding on to these eggs
for hundreds of years, probably.
Right, because we've been talking about, how old really is Alice. She's not a person. No. She's not she's probably human, but she's definitely a witch of some weird sorts.
100%.
What is she trying to plan here? I think she's trying to gain not just power, but this all magical power that will triumph anybody that tries to step in the way of her or Aemond ever. But she's using Aemond to hatch these eggs to probably marry him, have children with him,
and have her own dragon
more
riders.
dragon riders that she's in control of,
Yeah.
along with her own witchcraft, which, like we said last episode,
What if that's some manifestation of the old gods trying to get dragons?
That's a good point. I didn't think about that. I was just thinking about more dragons means more magic in the world.
And that
she's
too,
trying
man.
to gather this ultimate magical power.
Yeah.
That maybe connects to deeper lore, like the White Walkers or whatever you want to say. But your theory of it being the old gods trying to fight back with their own, it's a good theory, man. It's a real good theory. But who's to say that these dragons would ever even hatch?
No clue. No clue.
But maybe the witch could probably do it. If anybody,
Dude, I mean,
bring 'em
she's
back.
insane.
But yeah, she finally seduces him in this scene. They kiss, and it seems like they're going to do it, and then probably get married next episode from the angle.
That's what it looks like
of what Allison
in
was
the
looking
trailer.
at. It looked like they were going to get married.
So we've talked about I think one of the last things that we haven't talked about in this episode is the assassins that Rhaenyra sends to get to kill Darren.
Yeah.
Because we discussed, the Septon girl, or the girl of the faith that was assaulted.
Yeah.
Oh yes. Also, right after this scene, Daemon attacks Ulf in the streets of Flea Bottom.
Yeah.
And many common folk are around to see that.
Yep.
I mean,
Terrible look.
terrible look.
And I think this is it for Ulf. I think he's done.
100%.
I think he's done because I
I
wrote
do
down
too.
the people that have like this disrespect of him, because it started with Jace, it went to Daemon. Rhaenyra kind of disrespected him a little bit with the belly thing, like your belly
Yeah.
is mine. And then when he was like, "What will you go by?" He was like Targaryen. She was like, "Absolutely not."
Yeah, and the way she said it, she was like revolted. She was like, "No, absolutely not."
And that probably felt terrible.
Yeah.
But also, that's also disrespectful because he is a Targaryen.
Yeah, he's like, "Hey, we're related, right?"
Probably.
Like,
But that's a whole other thing.
yeah.
But so yeah, and now he gets beaten and thrown in the street because he
threatened to be killed.
because he just wants to have an ale with the lads.
Yeah, he just wants to have an ale.
And
with
I
his
don't
buddies.
understand why Damon is so uptight about this.
As if you've always been the perfect
right,
son.
like Damon's walking around in the City Watch uniform like he is some.
Do you remember when you took the heir to the Iron Throne to a brothel, bro? Do you remember that?
Yeah. Do you
Like,
remember when you
yeah.
said air for a day?
Ooh, yeah. Gosh.
You remember when you betrayed your wife, Rhea Royce? You didn't even
That's
go
debatably the worst one.
and killed her. Like you're some higher man. It pisses me. It honestly pisses me off, and I hate it for Ulf.
I do
But
too.
I think this is the last straw for him. I
But
think it's not going to get
Also,
good.
I think Ulf is a piece of shit, but
Ulf is a piece of shit.
Yeah.
He's not a good person.
Yeah,
But also, he has a dragon, and he's in your service. You should probably just let him go get a drink.
we see one of the men that was writing letters to Ormond
Yes.
is killed by Daemon.
Yeah.
Um,
And he's like, it doesn't matter if you
Yeah.
kill one of us.
we're everywhere, man.
We will be everywhere. And it kind of senses like this. We see it in Marine with Danny.
Yeah, with the
Kinda
Sons of the Harpy.
mirrors the Sons of the Harpy. How
Big
they're,
time.
They're everywhere.
And it's kind of an interesting parallel because the Sons of the Harpy were like the rich people.
Yeah,
You know?
they were the rich
But
men.
these people are like the downtrodden.
Yeah, the
and
small
just the
folk.
common people.
Yeah.
Really interesting parallel.
Yeah.
So obviously the assassins fail to kill Darren. We have this badass scene with John Roxton, John
my
Roxton,
God,
and Gawain absolutely slaughters these people.
It's so good, dude.
Really dope scene.
I I loved it. And I love how Gawain, the MVP of this show, knew exactly what to look for. He was like, "That's not him." And Ormond, and it made me think that Gawain showed that he's the better man here.
Oh yeah, 100%.
He showed that he's better. He's the better man than Ormond, because Ormond retreats, and he's like, I'm sick, and then he eventually throws up after. But who's the first one to go to action right here? It's Gawain. It's Gawain. And
like he looks at Gawain to the guards, and he's like, "Stop him!" Talking about Gawain.
Yeah.
Like he's oblivious here. And then, of course, after it happens, I love the look in Gawain's eyes right there. He knows immediately.
He knows exactly. Starts looking him up and down.
Yeah.
And then knows it's exactly that there's something afoot here.
Mm-hmm.
And then him, Bold John, they go into action, and Ormond is just back here, just being
just
this
retching,
just being this prissy person.
I love the way Bold John Roxon approaches right there with his sword over his back. He just kind of,
and that's how he carries it in the books. This Valyrian steel, ice-like,
great
huge sword, and he cuts somebody from
navel to groin
to and just rips them open. And that is a
good foreshadowing too.
Good foreshadow right there. Yeah, and so I don't know how this will look upon the Baratheons now that they've done this.
Also, sick. Gawain slaughtered him. Gawain cut his throat with a dagger and then drew the man's sword that he killed.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
It shows that he is not just this kind of like frail man.
Yeah.
That it kind of, you thought he was going to be when he set off with Kristen.
100%.
Because he was like, we're going to go up here to this inn up here. And Kristen's like, no, we need to stay together. And then, they run away from Moondancer. But like, over that course, it shows how Gawain is like this battle-hardened veteran.
Yeah.
And now it's like, yeah, he is. And he kind of uses a little kind of like a guerrilla tactic right there. Goes for the dagger and goes straight for the throat.
It takes the man's sword.
It takes the dude's sword. I mean, that's not like a knightly thing to do.
No, 100%.
But
it's a good take.
But I really enjoyed that scene. I thought it was really cool. But Rhaenyra having the balls to send that order in.
Good move.
But also I want to know how Ormond's going to take this from like Lord Boros like later, because they got to like make contact with him.
Yeah.
Because last episode John comes in, he's like, more excuses from Lord Boros. So it just makes me think like which side is going to like heed his excuses more.
Very true.
So I don't know how that's going to go.
So after the scene with Hugh and his wife,
let me talk about that real quick.
Talk about it.
Real quick.
Yeah.
She said you smell different.
They're always talking about you smell like dragon.
Exactly. It made me think of Viserys when he goes to Rhaenyra in the first episode, and also with Emma when she's like, you reek of dragon.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what his wife is smelling right here.
Yeah, you smell different.
You smell different. She smells dragon on him.
Yeah.
I thought that was a cool little like bit of information right there. And we talked about this scene already, but it just pains me how Hugh felt like he was sacrificing everything for his family, and she didn't have to leave King's Landing. She could have stayed.
Very true.
She could have stayed, and guess what? If you would have stayed, you could have lived with me in the keep, and we would be all right now.
That's true.
You didn't have to go to Tumbleton, but I get why she did, but she's in almost a worse situation at Tumbleton than she would have been at King's Landing.
I agree.
And, like, I understand, like, small folk don't have these common conceptions of, like, strategy among these high lords, but, like, we not think that the high towers are going to come up from that way, from the south, because they have to take that road.
And I know, but, I guess you got to give her some grace because her daughter just died. Hugh went off. She's like, I'm going to go be with the only family that I have.
Yeah. But what does this do to Hugh? What does this do to his character? Ulf has already planted this seed of, possible betrayal. And now his wife wants nothing to do with him. And Ulf is going to come back, in these next 2 days and been like, guess what Damon did to me?
Yeah.
Guess what? Can you believe this? And he's going to be like, you know what? I don't screw these guys. Yeah. So it scares me for what possibly is to come, and it's just going to make Rhaenyra even more paranoid in the grand scheme of things. But yeah.
So after the final scene with Gwaine and Ormond, Alicent accepts that. I think she accepts that she's going to kill Aemond. That she's going to try to kill Aemond.
Yeah.
We see her ride off with in that scene that we saw in the trailer with her fur cloak up.
Yeah.
Riding off into the night.
Yeah, there's no telling what's to come because that is not in the book at all. Alicent does not leave the dungeon. And neither does Corlys.
Yeah.
But it seems like we were talking about this, and this will be like the final thing that we kind of get into before our spoiler zone. But Corlys being taken by Boljon. Now, I don't like it.
I don't either.
You don't like it. But in the book, eventually he gets thrown into the dungeon. By Rhaenyra. Now that's not much of a spoiler, because you can already sense their tension. He called her sons bastards.
Yeah.
He's left, so probably it was gonna happen, anyways.
Yeah.
And it's probably not the smartest idea to have a great actor like Steve Toussaint and throw his great character of Corlys into a dungeon just to sit there and rot.
It's a very good point.
So you can have this side quest thing that leads him to Tumbleton, and now he's involved in this. Now, what will Ormond portray this as? Will he be like, look what I got? Or will he be like, he's been on this side, he's turned his cloak?
Yeah, I think that's how Ormond's going to try to spin it. I think he's going to try to make it look like, Corlys is working for us now.
Yep.
Or at least, get some sort of information about him.
Yep.
He's going to say, get, you're her hand, you're going to report back to us.
Yep.
And maybe she finds out about this, and this is what ends up landing him in the dungeon. Or just, the fact that, you were with the Hightowers for weeks, and they just decided to let you go. Yeah,
ooh, that's a good point.
You're going in the dungeon, man.
That's a good point.
Especially with her already being beset on all sides by enemies within her own household.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't like it either, but I also think that it gives Corlys something to do, obviously, and it'll make Alan feel like he has to step up more, and Adam, but I'm also kind of like, it's kind of funny how this great warrior, but also this great naval, shipman gets taken on land because he didn't set good defenses around his camp.
Yep.
And of course, it would happen to like this great,
that's a good point.
Shipwright.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point.
He would get taken on land.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't know how to, establish some kind of perimeter around him and his men.
Yeah.
So I thought that was funny.
That's a good point.
But do you have anything to add before we get into the spoiler zone? Or do you want to preview the next episode?
Yeah, let's preview the next episode. But one more point, and the last scene we have in the show before Alicent rides off is Alicent and Helena talking to each other. And basically, like, Helena looks like she's in shambles, right? She's like, I don't want to be alone. Don't leave me alone.
Yeah.
And Helena's, basically saying, I have no choice. This is what we have to do.
Yeah.
And she's like begging her to take some of this broth.
Yeah.
And she takes like the most hesitant sip of the broth, and then kind of like squeamishly smiles at her mother, like, "Hey, I'm okay," and everything. But I think she did that, more for her mother's sake than for hers.
Yeah, for sure.
And like she's playing with this toy horse.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so sad.
She's such a child.
Yeah, she is,
like,
man.
Deep
She's
down.
so young and innocent.
Yeah.
You feel so bad for her.
I do feel so bad for Helena, because she is the sweetest and best, kindest character in this show, and it's just, you feel something coming. You feel that this separation that Allison says again that she's doing for her kids, it doesn't feel like it's going to end well.
No.
And it just scares me.
And I feel like she's really scared for her safety. And, of course, we see her stabbing herself in the thumb with this pin.
Yeah.
I just, I worry about the future of Helena.
Yeah.
Are we ready to move into the spoiler section?
Yeah. Do you want to move into? Do you want to preview for the people who don't want to listen to the spoiler zone?
Yeah, let's go ahead and preview.
All right. What do you think? What do you think is going to happen next episode?
Next episode, we obviously see Allison going to Harrenhal.
Yeah.
I didn't write down too much because I'm kind of unsure from that trailer. That trailer I feel like didn't show us generally
Definitely
as much
not.
as.
But just a little slight prediction.
Allison obviously is going to Harrenhal. It kind of looked like maybe Alice and Aemon are having some sort of marriage. It kind of looked like.
Are they going to do it in the Targaryen way, like Rhaenyra and Daemon did it? Like, no priest, just I mean, there was a priest, but there was like a Valyrian, like the Valyrian way.
Yeah.
But I get what you're saying.
Like how Rhaegar Targaryen and Lyanna did it.
Well, they did it the old-fashioned way, though. They did like the wrapping around.
Yeah, is that not how?
That's like the because Rob did it that way.
Oh right, yes.
That's the regular way.
That's true. We see Rhaenyra pressuring Helena big time.
God.
Yeah, I think that's just going to add a ton of mental strain.
Yeah.
Onto her. I think Ormond is going to have Corlys at Tumbleton. I think he's going to pressure him into, he's going to try to get him to switch sides. He's going to try to use Corlys, and he's going to use that to drive a wedge between Rhaenyra and her most powerful ally somehow. I think we are expecting to see Rhaenyra become more cruel, frankly, less forgiving.
See, I wrote down that I think something like this with Corlys is going to happen as well, but it will send her into more of a frantic paranoia type of state.
Yeah.
So it won't
I can definitely see that.
It won't be good.
I think we might see Rhaenyra finding out that Rhaena is flying sheep stealer, riding sheep stealer.
Who's going to tell her, though? Baela? Baela going to betray her own sister? Adam? Maybe when Adam hears of Baela and Alan's little thing, maybe he's like, you know what? Screw you, Baela. I'm going to tell Rhaenyra.
Yeah.
That might happen.
That's a good point.
That might happen. I also think that Aegon will see Sunfire again. I think Sunfire will rise from her state somehow. And it'll be like kind of like right before they set off to get on to port. Right before they go to Essos, and
I like that.
And Sunfire will show up, and then it'll fuel Aegon again to not leave.
I really like that.
I think that'll happen next episode, because he'll probably see Sunfire if Sunfire comes back. But this is just a theory. But I think if Sunfire comes back, he will look at Sunfire coming back just like Rhaenyra looks at Sea Smoke and Adam being like a gift from the gods type of thing. And he'll be like, oh my God, I have all this. This wasn't supposed to happen.
You're right.
You know, da-da-da-da-da. And it'll lead him into this frenzy.
I like that.
And then, also wrote down that I said that Bela and Adam will find Rhaena.
Yeah.
But that's it.
Yeah, that's my prediction for next episode.
All right. So now you want to get into the spoiler zone?
Sure. Let's get into the spoiler zone.